I want to say here is that what is to be protected in Sundarbans. So people may have many things, many ideas, but I am going to suggest a few important things related to fauna. The first one is, so far in the morning we heard a lot about this conservation of fishes. It is not that way. It is conservation of the fishermen. Because as long as fisherman is there, the fishes also will be there. That is what we are thinking. That is not so. We have to actually conserve the fish aggregation for spawning. This is a traditional knowledge. The fishermen, they have it in their mind. They pass it on to the next generation. So all the fishes, they come for spawning. This is aggregation. So that is the time all the fishermen, they collect all their fishes and then make the whole sea empty. So how to conserve these spawning aggregation? That is the first one which I am suggesting. If you conserve all these aggregation, you can also conserve this fishery, and the fishermen will also survive. There are many other ways for helping the fishermen. I will be showing you some of those things now. The second one is there is resilient species. With all our problems which we are talking about, so many pollution, so much of things are happening throughout the country, and finally it ends up in the Sundarbans, starting from Delhi up to West Bengal. So the protection of resilient species is another important thing, especially I am talking about fauna. Maybe flora is also included in that. Then the third important thing is incentive for conservation. If there is no incentive for conservation, whatever we talk about 2020 or 2050 is all only in the cricket, not in the reality. So what we have to do is we have to think of how to give incentive for conservation of flora and fauna or Sundarbans.
The confusion comes when the public is faced with the concept of the Sundarbans and the problems that are being discussed. And it is indeed only as a layperson that I am here to raise a couple of points which I think is exceedingly important to the discussions and the conclusions that must emerge out of these discussions. I was looking at the fact that I was listening to people during the first part of the morning, and what emerged from that was that everybody was talking from their particular point of expertise. As a result, there was fantastic kind of change between the forest people and Dr. Hazra on the one hand, then just now between the zoologists and the climate change people and others on the right across. So what emerges is that there are deep pools of knowledge existing with a whole lot of people with different specializations, including economics for that matter. And we've had a minor discussion, Professor Mukherjee, about that seems to indicate that the first task that anyone needs to undertake is probably joining the dots. Because each dot represents a pool of knowledge, and whether these dots can be joined in any coherent fashion is what information choices are all about. Because what, other than the expert from the Zoological Society, the Survey of India, who seemed to suggest that the marine fauna was more important than the marine fisherman. I'm sure he did not intend to say it quite so vividly, but that's how it emerged, was the fact that when we are looking at solutions, we are looking at the fact that people are at the center of all solutions. When people are at the center of all solutions, then we find a solution which is, whether we call it adaptive solutions or policy solutions, becomes simply difficult to adapt. Because ever since the Sundarbans was sort of appropriated for profit, which is what it was all about, which is what the history of the Sundarbans seems to indicate. The Sundarbans was appropriated for profit rather than for any particular other purpose. What you find is that the solutions and the expertise have to come together on the issue of what to do with people and what the people themselves may want to do with themselves. So we have a problem here, which in both in economics as well as in information, as well as those who deal with studying information, is that access to information is always key. I think there is a rather neat theory called the market for lemons, which is that if I were a salesperson on used cars, I would always know more than the person to whom I'm selling my car. In this case, that is exactly what is happening with the Sundarbans. Everyone in this room knows far more than the person on the ground who is going to be affected by this, by the decisions or the policy recommendations of everybody in this room. Therefore, it is therefore necessary to sort of categorize some of the information which already exists. And I found it fascinating when I was looking, if nothing else, at the Delta Vision document, that the descriptions of the Sundarbans are strangely muddled, almost as muddy as the sediment-full waters of the Delta region. One, that it is the world's largest contiguous block of mangrove forests. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site declared in 1987. It is the home of the Royal Bengal tiger. It is one of the world's largest deltas. It is a biosphere reserve. It is a core area of the tiger reserve. The tiger reserve was declared in 1973. Data which every speaker today, this morning, has dealt with at different points in time. So clearly there is one set of information on which there is no controversy. And then the next set of pointers that you get. It is an area enclosed by embankments, some 3,500 kilometers on the Indian side. It is an area settled by various kinds of people, including refugees. It is an area devastated by cyclones. It is an area settled by people brought in for economic purposes. It is an area defined by the man-nature conflict. It is an area of administrative neglect and political exploitation, and it is an area of poverty. And this is a kind of very quick list of what the Sundarbans represents. So you have the top half of the list, which talks about, on which there is no disagreement on facts. The information is clearly understood and clearly accessed by everybody from every kind of specialization. It's only when we come to the second half of the list that all the controversy erupts. And that is because the information that we are looking at is actually a construction of meanings that we are looking at. And I'll give you an example. When I say an area devastated by cyclones, do I really mean an area devastated by cyclones? I don't. What I'm saying is the area that is devastated by cyclones is devastated only because the people therein have been affected by, have been devastated by the impact of the cyclone. It is the person, it is the human being whose devastation is my description of the cyclone and having a devastating effect. So I think that is the kind of clarity which is today required if the body of expert knowledge, which having of course gone through the process of joining all the dots, is going to sensibly impact on policy and giving direction to what the sort of strategies that need to be implemented in order to save not only the Sundarbans as a unique heritage site, as a biosphere reserve, as a mangrove forest, etc., but also to save the Sundarbans from the impact that human habitation has had. And I'm not at all sort of apologetic about the fact that I think the human impact needs to be rather more, rather less emotionally viewed and rather more practically discussed. I see it was nodding away, but the fact of the matter remains that if you look at, the little bit of the history of the Sundarbans that I know of, is that it was that people went in there because they wanted to make profit out of it. There was no other reason for them to go in there. No one wants to go and live in a place which is infested by tigers and is hit by cyclones every so often. Therefore, no one actually wants to be devastated every so often, if I may say so. And no rational human